As a men's hormonal health and clinical educator, I see men misread or completely ignore late-night signals of attraction, not because they lack intuition, but because their own biological confidence is quietly holding them back. Most men miss the subtle behavioral cues a woman sends when she is highly receptive simply because underlying stress, compromised blood flow, and hormonal decline have dulled their own baseline drive and awareness. I am going to break down the 3 specific late-night signals women use to communicate desire, and you need to stay until the last one, because that is the one most men, and frankly, many behavioral experts, consistently misinterpret as flat-out rejection. What a man drinks in the morning can deeply support or silently compromise the hormonal function behind his drive, his physical firmness, and his natural energy throughout the day and into the night. There is a specific, clinically documented way to optimize this baseline using a combination of 3 specific ingredients. I recorded a short, private video explaining this exact morning protocol and how it interacts with male physiology. You will find the link to that private video in the pinned comment below. The biggest myth men believe about late-night attraction is that a woman will just plainly tell you what she wants if she is interested. Human biology and evolutionary psychology do not operate that way. Women often rely on covert signaling to test a man's responsiveness, his grounding, and his confidence. When a man fails to respond, he assumes she was not interested, but the clinical reality is much harsher. Often, she was highly interested, but she subconsciously sensed his hesitation. That hesitation rarely comes from a lack of desire. It usually comes from a silent, biological anxiety about performance. When your body is dealing with compromised peripheral blood flow or declining free testosterone, your brain actually suppresses your ability to read and act on attraction signals. Your autonomic nervous system enters a defensive state. Understanding these 3 behavioral signals only works if your body is biologically primed to act on them with absolute confidence. And that is exactly what I want to walk you through now. The first signal is what clinical psychology refers to as the proximity shift, combined with the unnecessary inquiry. Late at night, a woman who is secretly interested will close the physical gap between you and ask a question she already knows the answer to, or one that has no real relevance to the moment. She might ask about a detail of a story you told hours ago, or ask for your opinion on something trivial. The majority of men take this at face value and try to give a logical answer. They miss the biology of the moment. This is a behavioral test of engagement. Biologically, stepping into a woman's personal space triggers a micro spike in tension. If a man's baseline free testosterone is healthy and his cortisol is regulated, his brain reads this tension as an opportunity, and he steps into it with steady eye contact and physical presence. If his cortisol is chronically high and his hormonal axis is suppressed, his brain reads the tension as a threat, and he leans back or gives a flat, logical answer. You must recognize that the question is just the vehicle for the physical proximity. The second signal is the somatic anchor, which usually manifests as lingering, unintentional physical contact. She might lightly touch your arm when laughing, let her knee rest against yours under a table, or adjust a piece of your clothing. Men often dismiss this as friendliness. In the context of late-night interactions, it is never just friendliness. This is an evolutionary mechanism designed to test physical compatibility and gauge your physiological reaction. When she initiates this touch, she is subconsciously looking for your system to respond. In a healthy male body, this physical anchor should trigger an immediate release of nitric oxide in the endothelium, prompting a cascade of vascular readiness and an undeniable shift in your physical presence. If your vascular system is sluggish due to poor endothelial function, your body simply does not react, and she will sense that flat line in your energy and pull away. I want to pause here because acting on these psychological signals requires your vascular system and your hormones to respond instantly when desire hits. I cannot responsibly cover a complete, evidence-based protocol for natural vasodilation and hormonal support in a public video like this, because the platform algorithms often restrict deep clinical discussions. That is exactly why I recorded a private masterclass connecting the biological mechanisms of male drive to that specific 3-ingredient morning formula. In that presentation, you will understand exactly how to support natural firmness and hormonal readiness from a clinical perspective. You can access it through the link in the pinned comment right after we finish the last point. The third and most crucial signal is the sudden tension test. This is the one that causes the most confusion. Late at night, just as things seem to be going well, she might suddenly disagree with you, tease you about something specific, or create a moment of mild, playful friction. Most men immediately panic. They read this shift in tone as a loss of interest or a sign that they did something wrong, so they back down, apologize, or try to smooth things over. This is a fatal misreading of female psychology. She is not rejecting you. She is introducing friction to see if you are biologically and psychologically grounded enough to hold your own. It is a tension test. When a man loses confidence in the bedroom, he often starts losing it everywhere else too, and women can smell that lack of grounding. If you remain calm, hold eye contact, and playfully push back, you pass the biological test. Your nervous system proves it is not easily shaken. Attraction is a deep biological dialogue, and you cannot participate fully if your own system is running on low energy, high stress, or compromised peripheral blood flow. Understanding female psychology is useless if your own male physiology is silently holding you back. Now you have the clinical picture most men never get. That changes what you do next. Tell me in the comments, have you ever completely missed one of these signals and only realized it days later? You have to remember that male biology responds to correct protocols, not to myths, hesitation, or staying silent about your health. If you are ready to address the underlying mechanics of your energy and physical readiness, the private video contains the complete protocol I did not have space to cover here, including the exact science behind the 3-ingredient morning formula. Due to the clinical density of the information shared and the growing demand for this unlisted masterclass, I cannot guarantee how long I will keep it available to the general public. Go to the pinned comment now, watch the presentation, and start taking your biological confidence seriously.